Hello Internet and welcome to new and improved QuickTime events. And to start off this new generation of the show, I have something everybody has been looking forward to. Something holy among gamers. I finally have it, thanks to my friend Brian. The Dreamcast 2. Yes, it's true, I have in my possession a console supported by Sega, focusing on the next generation of online play, completely amazing graphics for the time, a very inventive controller that doesn't work for everybody, but works for most people, and I have it. I finally have a Dreamcast 2. And here it is! Yeah, let me explain. Alright, if you watched my show before, you would already know what a Dreamcast is. Basically, it was Sega's last console, and you can consider it in the same generation as the GameCube, the PS2, and that other console by Microsoft, but we're not going to do that. We're going to look at it as if it was the precursor to that generation. It led into the generation that we know and love. You see, Microsoft actually helped out a ton on the Dreamcast. The entire console ran on Microsoft's hardware and software. It made it incredibly easy to program for, like another console we're going to talk about in a second. You see, when the Dreamcast was failing, Microsoft was like, listen guys, the Dreamcast project went really well, but we need to work on our own console now. A lot like how PlayStation was created out of Sony and Nintendo's little befuddle that turned into nothing, and then PlayStation popped out and whatever. Believe it or not, the Xbox was actually supposed to be a Sega console. It would actually have Dreamcast support as well, which would make sense considering they both run on very similar hardware and software. Okay, so we've already proven that there's the backwards compatibility. That's great and all, but that doesn't mean that it's the Dreamcast 2. Well, in a lot of ways, the consoles are incredibly similar. I mean, alright, let's start off with SegaNet. SegaNet was the first online service that made sense in video games. Okay, that's a little bit subjective, but it was the first one that was widely used. And then look at Xbox Live. I mean, it's the same thing. They both were really easy to get hooked up to and were used by a lot of people and are remembered for it. Score one for Dreamcast 2. Alright, next. Okay, so let's look. We got the PlayStation 1, we've got the N64, and we've got the Dreamcast. Notice I didn't talk about the Sega Saturn. Fuck the Sega Saturn. Okay, it's obvious that at the time this Dreamcast came out, it was miles above the other consoles as far as graphics and power went. Look at the Xbox. Very similar. Focused on being ahead of the time, and I know it falls behind a little bit, and it had a little bit of a cost thing. Dreamcast didn't have that, but hey, what I'm trying to get to here is the graphics were amazing on both consoles. They both pushed the boundaries of what games could be. Alright, that was an okay one. We'll give it 0.5. Alright, we'll give it 0.5 points. Okay, what is this? What is this? This is a Dreamcast controller. It's awesome, and it has the controller screen, it has the buttons and the triggers, and look at that on the top. You got the ports for the VMUs and memory cards and the rumble packs and whatnot, and you got the button here, and yeah. Whoa. That's an Xbox controller. What? They're the same. They're like similar. Yeah, I know, there were multiple Xbox controllers. There was the fat one that the Chinese and Japanese and whatnot people couldn't use. Who cares? The Xbox 360 sells like 500 units a month in Japan. I'm not even kidding right now. The Xbox One isn't even being sold in Japan. Okay, so I can talk about the Xbox original being the Dreamcast 2, but the newer Xboxes, no way. Like, seriously right now, they're not even selling in Japan. And Sega did do better in America than Japan back when they were fighting against Nintendo, but they would never abandon a console as badly as Microsoft has abandoned the Xbox entire lineage in Japan. I mean, that's just disgusting. But now let's look at the games. I mean, oh my god, so many Dreamcast projects were moved over to the Xbox, and I mean, they were ported up and everything, and they look nicer in some cases, but for the most part, I mean, we got Shenmue 2, we've got Gun Valkyrie, there's so many great Sega games, Jet Set Radio Future, I mean, I can't even name them right now unless I had a list in front of me, which I kind of do, but I don't know. Okay, so there's no exclusive Sonic games, but for the most part, I mean, there's a lot of Sega games on here. Look at this list, I mean, wow. And I mean, personally, if you look at the games that were ported to the Xbox by Sega, or the games released for the Xbox by other companies, it really had the feeling of the Dreamcast. I mean, I know there's really no feeling of the Dreamcast, but for the most part, the games really felt a little bit arcadey for the most part. I mean, you got the Halos and things like that, the huge games like that, but on the other side, you've got games like Fusion Frenzy and things like that that were just different. They felt like Dreamcast games. Alright, so you don't agree with me. You just don't agree with me. You got your closed mind, you got the key, you ate the key, it's inside of you right now. What am I gonna do? How am I gonna convince you? I'm not. But just go pick up an original Xbox, pick up some of these Sega games, play it with your friends, play it alone, and I guarantee you, you'll know. The Xbox original, not Xbox One. Why did they call it Xbox One? The original Xbox really feels like Dreamcast 2 to me. I don't know. I was sitting there playing, I'm like, I should make a video about this. This is Dreamcast 2. It's good. Hey guys, thanks for watching. I mean, it's so great to get views. I love it. Thank you so much. If you're watching it to this point, you're just a great person, and I'm gonna subscribe to you. You know, you don't even need to subscribe to me. Don't even subscribe to me. I will subscribe to you for being so great. I put a lot of time into editing this video, not so much time into writing it, but you know, it's just, it feels great. Thank you so much. And even if you didn't agree, put a comment down at the bottom, and the worst that can happen is I'll just report it, and then your account will get banned. I mean, what is the worst possible thing that can happen? Just post a comment. Be like, that's stupid. You don't even need Dreamcast 2 doesn't exist. Sega's working on it right now. What are you talking? No. See, that's the thing, though. Like, that comment, that'd be great. I would like that comment. I would like that comment, and then go subscribe on your channel, then click on your website and add it to my favorites and view it every day, you know? I'm gonna end this now.